I watched The Girlfriend on Netflix last night, and one moment in the film turned my entire living room into a battleground for the next 30 minutes. It's the scene when Bhuma's father walks into his daughter's hostel room and he finds her in bed with Vikram. And in the confrontation scene that follows later, my entire family was divided on one question: whose fault was it? So, in today's video, let's break this question down. Let's start with Bhuma's father. From his point of view, this is obviously a huge shock layered on top of fear. He has come to his daughter after many months, perhaps, and he finds her in a situation that, while perfectly legal, still carries enormous cultural stigma in India. So, for a man who was raised with rigid ideas of honor, control, morality, this is a big psychological crash. So, yes, his anger in those first initial moments is humanly understandable, but just because we understand the anger doesn't mean we excuse what follows. After his initial crash out, instead of pausing, instead of talking to his daughter, instead of treating her like an adult woman with agency, Bhuma's father immediately chooses to control her. First, he hits the boy. Then, more disturbingly, he drags an adult Bhuma to the dean's office like a misbehaving child, not to protect her, but to punish her by making her drop her course. Her education, her future, her autonomy, none of this matters to him anymore. The only thing that matters is to restore his sense of authority. When the dean, rightfully, refuses to comply with his demand, Bhuma's father's mask slips completely. He destroys the laptop, the property around the dean's office. He has another big meltdown. And when he can no longer physically dominate Vikram, he turns his rage towards his own daughter. This is not discipline, this is a tantrum. And crucially, this is not new behavior. The film rightly tells us that Bhuma has been managing her father's emotions since childhood. In the flashback scene, when she wants to spend some time with her aunt and cousin, Bhuma's father stonewalls her. He sulks like an angry child, withholding food to punish her, and snarkily tells her to go ask her aunt for food instead. This is a crucial insight into Bhuma's equation with her father. Because Bhuma's father has lost his wife during childbirth, he has had to navigate raising her as a single father. But somewhere along the way, he holds Bhuma responsible for the missing companionship in his own life. Bhuma has stopped being just a daughter to him. She has become a stand in for companionship. His grief has calcified into insecurity. His love has turned possessive. And that emotional dynamic shapes Bhuma's psyche. Which brings us to another disturbing but important observation. It is not a coincidence that the first man Bhuma ends up with shares so many similarities to her father. Both of them are insecure, possessive, petulant, and easily angered. Vikram is the second major player in this confrontation, and by far the most dangerous one. Like Bhuma, he also comes from a broken home. He's grown up watching his father dominate his mother. But instead of recognizing that brutality causes trauma, he reframes his mother's endurance as a virtue. His mother cannot speak anymore, but he worships her silence. His mother cannot even meet a stranger's eye anymore, but he romanticizes her endurance. Even as an adult, Vikram refuses to acknowledge how psychologically damaged his mother has become. That's why he proudly tells Bhuma that he would never hit her, as if the absence of physical brutality makes him exceptional, as if emotional control, intimidation, and possessiveness don't count. Also, Vikram isn't confused, he's calculated. As the college heartthrob, he has options, but he doesn't choose someone like Durga, someone confident, assertive, impossible to dominate. He selects Bhuma because she's naive, inexperienced, conditioned to please, afraid to say no. Vikram doesn't fall in love, he selects, like a predator would select its prey. So, where does Bhuma stand in all of this? Throughout the entire confrontation scene, she doesn't do anything beyond beg and cry. She begs her father to listen to her. She begs Vikram not to hurt her father, and basically keeps on crying throughout both of these things. But is Bhuma just a victim? It's not that simple. Yes, she makes mistakes. And her biggest mistake is that Bhuma doesn't say no early enough. She lets the relationship continue long past its expiry date. By not taking a stand early on, she almost leads Vikram on. But context matters. Bhuma is a girl tasting freedom for the very first time. A girl raised to prioritize other people's emotions over her own safety. A girl who's never been allowed anger, rebellion, or desire. The exact traits that make her so desirable to Vikram. Her fault is not neglect or recklessness. Her fault is choosing familiarity. Bhuma didn't choose the right love for herself. She just chose what she felt was familiar to her. And this is Bhuma's coming of age story. Her relationship with Vikram becomes the crucible that forces her to grow a spine. She moves from a girl who flinches, apologizes, shrinks, and accommodates herself to other people's needs and desires to a woman who can look at her tormentor in the eye without fear. Painful as it is, this experience is exactly what teaches her to advocate for herself as she grows up and learns from her mistakes. And let's be honest, no matter how much we romanticize that age later, 22 was not exactly an age of great judgment for any of us. So, coming back to the original question that started the argument, whose fault was it? In the end, I think the primary responsibility lies with the father for two reasons. First, he raised Bhuma to be emotionally pliable, to manage his own grief and insecurity, without realizing how deeply it was shaping Bhuma's own vulnerability. He primed her for a predator like Vikram. Second, even when she made a mistake, in his eyes, his response was not of concern or guidance, but control and violence. And here's my slightly controversial take on parenting. As children become adults, I think their relationship with their parents will and should change. Parents should stop being judges ready to sentence their kids for their mistakes. Instead, they should evolve to become lighthouses, guiding their children through the darkness, constant and always reliable. Because if at 22 years of age your child does not feel comfortable or safe calling you when they are in trouble, if they don't believe that they can pick up the phone and say, Mummy, Papa, I made a mistake, I'm scared, I need your help, then you failed as a parent to create a secure environment. Because no matter the problem, no matter the mistake, a child should be able to come to their parent and know that they will be met with safety, not fear. And that's my reading of the confrontation scene in The Girlfriend. Let me know if you agree or if you see it differently. And for more breakdowns like this, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.